We're now going to learn how to make the button up patch, and this patch is based on all of these like vintage button cards. These are just some quite plain ones, but you could get like really gorgeous fancy ones. So they'd often have like a border around them and then all the different buttons in the middle. So we're going to start this patch by making sure we've got our piece of canvas cut to the right patch size, which is 18 centimeters by 23 centimeters. And like we've been doing a lot with the patches, we need to stiffen it a little bit because it's a bit too floppy for our blanket. So we use a stiffening, which is actually called interface. So what we do, we've got our canvas, and then you can see on the interface, one side is, can you see that on the camera? One side is kind of shiny and the other side is matte. You put the shiny side to the fabric because the shiny side is the glue, and then you just iron it down steadily and with a little bit of pressure for about 10 seconds, making sure you do all the corners and all the way around until it's become like one piece of fabric. We then need to make our actual card design. Now how we've made this, we've just used a little bit of vinyl like you'd find on like Nike t-shirts and stuff like that. So you can get it in all different colours. This is just a grey one, but you can see there's something really tricky with vinyl. Is it looks the same on both sides, but actually it's got a clear plastic film when you peel it off. So what I like to do is I get some masking tape and I put it on the clear side so I can tell when I'm going to iron it which side round it is, and I can also draw any designs that I want. Like with all making, try and make sure your designs are on the edge of the piece so it doesn't like waste the center. I might do a nice little swirl, and I'm just going to get some scissors and I'm going to cut this out. And feel free again just to kind of make any design you want. It's just like a fancy little border that you're trying to do. Oh, I'm just not loving that, so I'm just gonna circle it like that. There you are. That's a little bit better. Okay, and now I've got some little border pieces that I'm ready to lay on my bit of canvas. Once you've got your vinyl pieces cut out, you're now ready to lay them out on your piece of canvas. So just get your canvas and either put it on your ironing station, or if you have access to the heat press, you can use that as well. And then you're just going to lay out your vinyl with the tape side facing you. So on this, it's the red side is going to go down, and I'm going to see the tape on the top. It's super important which way, otherwise it'll stick to your iron and not the cloth. So you can just, if you just think of these little designs as just being like a little border, like a little fancy border. You'll see in the handouts there's loads of different like examples that we've given. Right, I think I'm ready there. If you can see it, it's kind of hard to see because it's got the masking tape on, but there it is. And now I'm going to get my silicone sheet. You can use A4 paper, baking paper, just something to protect your iron a bit. It should be okay, but it's always just good to be on the safe side. Just make sure your design hasn't moved. And then you just want to hold it again, be firm, slowly moving your iron, making sure that you're really pressing on the vinyl. If you're using a heat press, you can follow the heat press instructions for this stage. Heat press is so much quicker, but not all of us can have that, so you can just use a good old iron. Right, and you should be able to tell when it's done because, fingers crossed, yeah, the tape just peels off. Oh no, did you see that? If that happens, get your paper back on and it will be okay to just go over it, but you must put the paper on it. Okay, let's try it. Hope this is a bit better. Yay! There is your little design. As you can see, this is quite basic. It can be as fancy and gorgeous as you like. This little one is another example here. It's now time to add the buttons to your button card. So you can just choose about 6 buttons from the same colour family. So if you're doing like a red blanket, like this one's going to be on, you might want to choose like reds and oranges and yellows, browns, or if it's the blue card like our demonstration, it's got like blues and greens. So once you've chosen them, you can just lay them out and just make sure that you're happy with how they all look. It just can be a whole assortment of different buttons. And once you're happy with the ones that you've chosen, I'm happy with these ones, you can then actually just take them off and just so you know, just put 6 little marks so they're all kind of evenly spread out on your card. And one thing I should also make sure, you'll notice that the border of this vinyl design is quite a bit in from the edge, and that's because all of our patches, when we sew them together, we're going to lose about that much. So if you did the vinyl too near the edge, it would kind of hang off. So make sure you do it like a fair bit in like that. I'm now going to show you how to sew a button on. You might know how to do this already. There's loads of different ways to do it online, but this is just how I do it, if you find it helpful. First of all, I've chosen like a fun colour thread that matches the buttons but contrasts a little bit. And then I'm just going to cut it, but I'm actually going to cut it twice the length of my arm. Something my grandma taught me. Normally when you're doing hand sewing, it's just the length of your arm. So imagine when you're pulling the thread, it doesn't get all ravelled up. But because we're doing a button, I'm going to do it double the thickness of the thread, which is why I've done it twice the length of my arm. Right, then you're just going to thread the needle and you're going to take it right to the middle. There you go. So the 2 ends of the thread are matching like that. Okay, so then I can see where one of my little crosses is. On the back, I've got my finger where that is, and on the back, I'm just going to sew. I'll move forward a little bit. Just a little stitch. Now you can see I've left a little tail hanging out, and this is called an anchor stitch. And so you just do a couple. That's quite a big anchor stitch. You can do it a little bit smaller, but I'm just doing a bit bigger to show you. There's our little tail, and then this, maybe do like 3 stitches, and you'll see this acts like a knot in your fabric, and it just means that that button's going to go nowhere. Doesn't matter if you can see it on this side because the button's going to cover it. Then you would poke your thread through. You would put your needle through with your thread on. Now imagine if that thread was really long, you'd be getting really stuck right now. So once that's pulled through, you'll see it's got the holes on the button. Literally just poke it through the hole. This one's a two hole button. Poke it through there. And then just go into the other button until it comes out the back. Oh no. And just be careful it doesn't get ravelled like this one just has. Oh man. There we are. It's okay. It's all good. And then basically you just keep on doing that. You go up through the other hole. And back down that one. Up through one hole and back through the other. When you've done this about 10 to 15 times, or however, 10 would be actually plenty, you then push your thread back through, but this time not through a hole, just through the back of the cloth, and this just reinforces it. And you take the thread and you wrap it around your stitches. That's between 8 and 10 times, and then you poke it back through to the back of your fabric, and then do your little anchor stitches again. And to finish it, what I like to do is just put my needle through the loop, and that button is going nowhere. Once you've sewn one button, you do exactly the same for all the other 5 buttons, making sure that they're all really secure. The only thing that you might notice is that some of your buttons might have 4 holes. So in that case, all you do is exactly what I've just taught you, but just twice. So do it across 2 and then across the other 2 holes. And that's it. You have your lovely button patch. Well done.